Hello everyone. Got a few dirty jokes for you today. So, three young women, an American, a French woman, and an African lady, find themselves in a plane hurtling towards a potential crash. As the tension grips the cabin, they each devise their own unique strategies for survival. The American begins applying makeup with precision. In times of crisis, she declares confidently, rescuers will always prioritize a beautiful girl. Not one to be outdone, the Frenchwoman swiftly decides to contribute her own survival strategy. She unhooks her bra and says, rescuers will save a girl with beautiful breasts first. Meanwhile, the African friend observes the unfolding spectacle with amusement. As the others focus on enhancing their external appeal, she slyly removes her knickers and remarks, well, I've heard they always start looking for the black box first. So, a kid walks into a general store, walks up to the owner, and asks for a job. The owner says, you think you'd make a good salesman? The kid says, I don't know. I think so. Owner says, I'll tell you what. Next customer comes in, you watch me. If you think you can do what I do, you have a job. A few minutes later, a customer comes in. The owner of the store says, can I help you? The customer replies, yes. I'd like to buy a bag of grass seed. No problem, says the owner, as he reaches for a bag of grass seed. Do you think you might want a lawnmower with that? Lawnmower? Asks the customer. Yeah, says the owner. You plant that grass seed, you're gonna have a lot of grass to cut. You might want to get a lawnmower too. The customer thinks it's a great idea and agrees. The owner sells him the grass seed and the lawnmower, and the customer leaves. The owner turns to the kid and says, see that? That's selling. The guy wanted some grass seed, and I sold him a lawnmower too. You think you can do that? The kid says, yeah, I can do that. So, the owner says, great, next customer comes in is yours. I'll just stand here quietly and watch. We'll see how you do. A few minutes pass by and another customer comes in. The kid says, can I help you? The customer says, yes, I'd like to buy a box of Tampax for my wife. No problem, says the kid as he reaches for the box of Tampax. Do you think you might want a lawnmower with that? Lawnmower, says the customer. Yeah, says the kid. You're not going to be doing anything else for the next 7 days. You might as well cut the grass. So a very tall man walks into a bar, and a lady recognizes him as a pro rugby player. They start to talk and eventually go back to his place. They start to kiss, and the man takes off his shirt. On his arm, he has a tattoo that says Reebok. What's that for? The lady questions. Oh, I have this so that when I'm on TV, people will see my tattoo, and Reebok pays me. Then the man takes off his trousers, and on his leg, he has a tattoo that says Nike. What's that? The lady questions again. Just like the Reebok tattoo, I get paid when this tattoo is seen on TV. Then the man drops his underwear, and on his member, he has a tattoo that says AIDS. The lady screams, don't tell me you have AIDS. The man replies, no, no, calm down. It will say Adidas in a minute. So an old Indian chief sat in his hut on the reservation, smoking a ceremonial pipe and eyeing 2 U.S. government officials sent to interview him. One official asked the chief, you have observed the white man for 90 years. You've seen his wars. and his material wealth. You've seen his progress and the damage he has done." The chief nodded that it was so. The official continued, "Considering all these events, in your opinion, where did the white man go wrong?" The chief stared at the government officials for over a minute and then calmly replied, "When white man found the land, Indians were running it. No taxes, no debt, plenty buffalo, plenty beaver. Women did all the work, medicine man was free. Indian man spent all day hunting and fishing, all night making love." Then the chief leaned back and smiled. Only white man dumb enough to think he could improve on a system like that. So a man met a beautiful girl, and he decided he wanted to marry her right away. She protested, "But we don't know anything about each other." He replied, "That's all right. We will learn about each other as we go along." So she consented, and they were married, and they went on honeymoon to a very nice resort. One morning, they were lying by the pool when he got up off his towel, climbed up to the 30-foot-high board, and did a 2.5 tuck gainer, entering the water perfectly, almost without a ripple. This was followed by 3 rotations in jackknife position before he again straightened out and cut the water like a knife. After a few more demonstrations, he came back and lay down on his towel. She said, "That was incredible." He said, "I used to be an Olympic diving champion. You see, I told you we'd learn more about ourselves as we went along." So she got up, jumped in the pool, and started doing laps. She was moving so fast that the ripples from her pushing off at one end of the pool would hardly be gone before she was already touching the other end of the pool. After about 30 laps, completed in mere minutes, she climbed back out and lay down on her towel, barely breathing hard. He said, "That was incredible. Were you an Olympic endurance swimmer?" "No," she said. "I was a streetwalker in Venice, and I worked both sides of the canal." So a man buys a new sports car. He takes his wife out for a drive in the countryside and is enjoying the power of the new engine. His wife starts feeling frisky and takes off her top. "Go faster, and I'll take more off." With a grin, he stomps on the accelerator. This continues until she's butt naked and they're doing 150. He loses control on a tight corner, and they roll down an embankment into a tree where he is pinned in the car and can't get out. All her clothes are gone. He tells her to run back to the road and get help, but she says, "No, I have nothing on. I'm naked." His seatbelt is stuck and can't remove his either. The only thing he can give her is his boots. She covers her lower bits with them and an arm across her chest out of modesty and runs to the road where she stops a car screaming, "Help me, my husband is stuck." The driver looks at the boots and says, "Sorry, lady, he's in too far." So a man goes hiking on a mountain when all of a sudden he gets really thirsty. He forgot to bring any water, so he just continues walking. After a few minutes, he finds a crossing with a well by the side of the road. He looks into the well, but he can't see any water, not even the bottom of the well. Curious on how deep the well might be, he walks to a stone a few feet away, grabs it, and tosses it into the well, waiting for a splash, but there isn't any. Disappointed, he walks even further away to find a large boulder, so heavy he can barely lift it, walks back to the well and tosses it in. Still, nothing to hear. All of a sudden, a goat comes breaking through the surrounding forest, dashes towards the well and jumps in. The hiker is in shock to what he just witnessed, but chooses to carry on his hike. A few hundred feet later, he encounters a man standing in a herd of goats. He asks the hiker, "Hey sir, have you seen a goat? I am missing one." The hiker responds, "Man, you won't believe this. I was just standing near a well, and the goat just came running and jumped into the well. I am so sorry." To which the goat herder said, "Damn, that sucks. This goat was always trying to get away, but I hoped this time would be different. I even tied her to a boulder." So an Irishman goes to the doctor, who after examining him says, "You have some problems with your heart, but if you take these tablets, I think it will be okay." So the doctor gives the man the tablets, and the patient asks, "Do I have to take them every day?" "No," replies the doctor. "Take one on the Monday, skip the Tuesday. Take one on the Wednesday, skip the Thursday, and go on like that." 2 weeks later, the doctor is walking down the street, and he sees the patient's wife. "Hello, Mrs. Murphy," he says. "How's your husband?" "Oh, he died of a heart attack," says Mrs. Murphy. "I'm very sorry to hear that," says the doctor. "I thought if he took those tablets, he would be all right." "Oh, the tablets were fine," says Mrs. Murphy. "It was all the bloody skipping that killed him." So it was last Wednesday night, and I was sitting in my room watching television when the phone rang. "Hello," I said. A girl's voice came over the line. "Can I speak to Ben, please? I live by myself, and my name definitely is not Ben." It was probably a wrong number, and I was bored. I replied, "I'm sorry, he's not in right now. Can I take a message? Do you know what time he'll be back?" She responded, "I think he said he'd be home around 10. Silence on the other end. A confused silence. "Is this Steve? My name isn't Steve either." This was definitely a wrong number. So I replied, "Yes, it is. Do you want to leave a message for Ben?" "Well, he said he would be home tonight and asked me to call him." I replied, "Well, he went out with Karen about an hour ago and said that he would be back at 10. A shocked voice now. "Who's Karen?" "The girl he went out with." "I know that. I mean, who is she?" "I don't know her last name." "Look, do you want me to leave a message for Ben?" "Yes, please do. Tell him to call me when he gets home." She was sounding pretty irate at this point, and I could hear her temper flaring. "I sure will. Is this Jennifer?" She exploded. "Who's Jennifer?" Apparently, she wasn't. "Well, he's going out with Jennifer at 10. I thought you were her. Sorry. It was an honest mistake." She started screaming out, "Ben's the one that's made the mistake. Tell him that Alice called him and that she's very upset and that I would like him to call me as soon as he gets home." I smiled and said, "Okay, I will, but Becky isn't going to like this."